Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Impromptu No Practice Children's Christmas Program presentation entitled Leadership Considerations with Mike Holmes and Terry Schultz.
All right, this is Mike Holmes back here with ReachKeep.com and the Baptist Youth Mission, and want to continue to share some things on the Impromptu Christmas program for children. And again, it's a no practice, but not no planning. And so we want to go through a little bit more of the planning. And I'm joined with Terry Schultz, who directs our children's work here.
Hi.
And we're glad to be here and share some of these things with you. I want to talk a little bit about the leadership aspect of this and who actually runs kind of the not necessarily the meetings, but the actual program. And I want to share how we've done that in the past. Now, this may be a children's pastor, or it may be the actual pastor of the church that runs the program. But we'll kind of want to let you know where we're going with some of that, what we've done. The general format is that you can do this either on a Sunday morning or Sunday night. A program would usually run a shorter time of the children's program because the children are going to be in the service, and so they're not. You don't have everyone just sitting real still for an hour and a half or whatever. You end up with sometimes about a 40 to 45 minute, 50-minute program. So kind of keep that in mind. We like to clear our stage off, or the area so the pulpit's not there, and so we have a kind of an area to work with, and whether you decorate and build some props or not, that would be up to you. Being a rehearsal impromptu thing, it doesn't take much. The stars of the program are not the props; the stars of the children.
And we'll cover the props again in the further podcast.
We'll talk about some of those things. So let's talk about the leadership of this, Terry, for just a second. We have many times women that are in charge of children's ministries, but as far as them up in front of all,
It's an uncomfortable feeling to be put in front of parents sometimes. Some of us are okay with that, but a lot of Sunday school teachers are not. They really like to be the behind the scenes, but they love working with the kids. But you pressure them to be the one that's up on the stage, that's really tough.
And that's really where we feel the pastor, or again, a children's pastor, would take and run with this.
Right.
Kind of be the MC through the entire program. You may have a musician or a music person, lead a congregational song at the beginning, and we'll talk about that more in the nuts and bolts.
And it might be that you have a really strong Sunday school teacher that can handle this, but that's not the norm. That's not what you find in most churches.
Yeah, so really what we're looking at is when we get to the story portion, and again, there may be some intro things that are done with music, that the youth pastor or the pastor would be a leader, and he would be actually, presenting this story and kind of being the mentor in front of these kids and kind of creating this relationship, the mentor thing. Why don't you comment on that?
So you're not just leading you're not just helping the workers. You're really speaking into the lives of these kids and these families in a way that is so important today. When I think of many of the churches I've been in, it seems to get worse and worse that there are more and more children that don't have a dad in the house, that need that fatherly figure to come alongside and tell them the story and be that male figure that can really do that, be that person that they can go to and trust. Not that moms can't be trusted, because obviously they can, but that extra voice that's coming in and saying those things and giving value to the kids, the workers, and the parents as you treasure their children.
And again, this is more of the pastor, youth worker is leading this. In my case, I'll be the one doing it. We'll be leading the kids and having the kids come forward and act out some different positions that they'll be doing, the shepherds and the angels and some things along that line. But I'll be telling the story. I'm not preaching a message, and this is really important. Pastor, if you're the one doing this, I know you love to preach, but this is not preaching. This is more like you standing up there and telling the story. No points, no poem. We'll have you, start with Luke, the first part of Luke, and tell a little bit of the story while we're getting kids ready. We'll talk about that the next time.
And a real big part of that is that you have gotten some feedback from somebody that isn't the preacher that is building that whole program, so you're not defaulting to what you're best at. That you are keeping it very child-centric, family-centric, so that it doesn't lose that flavor.
Yeah, so there's some real benefits of being there and helping these kids as they move onto the stage and off the stage, and there'll be a little singing and some of those things. But the pastor's actually, again, leading, not necessarily doing a preaching at this time. It gives another aspect which is so necessary in our day and age, and this is this word authentic or authenticity. It's kind of like you talking to your grandkids. It'd be like, my kids are there, my nephews are there, and I'm just telling them the Christmas story. Right. And there's sometimes there will be interruptions, and there will be a question or two that comes up, and you just answer it and go on. And of course, if a little kid asks a question, you always need to repeat that out loud. This child asked, so that everyone can hear. You kind of do those kind of things, but you try to roll with the flow, and it's just kind of a powerful moment when we do these authentic times with the kids there, and it really creates this kind of two-way street, which is different than preaching. Comment on that.
You don't want a pastor to be unapproachable by the kids, and sometimes kids feel that way, that he teaches the adults, I can't talk to him. You need to create the environment for those kids to be able to love their pastor in a way that they can trust you with those big questions down the road. And if you've built that in these younger years, and it might not even be you, it might be another pastor in another town, but you've set the tone for them that you want to be a help. Kids need that. They want somebody that they can turn to. And that needs to be something that's established really well.
So we see the Christmas program as being an opportunity for a pastor really to step out and do something that he doesn't really get to do too many times of the year. And so the kids are in the auditorium. He's primarily interacting with the kids, bringing them forward, telling a little bit of the story, having them be angels and shepherds and some of those things, and that the benefit of that alone, even if you never get to the invitation and the gospel and some of those things, for these kids to have this memory that they got to interact with the leadership of the church, with their pastor, is such a good thing. And that is really probably the icing on the cake for this whole thing. Is we have learned and used this phrase for a long time at Baptist Youth Mission, and that is people love people who love kids. And if you show genuine love for those children, wow, what a powerful message that
what
sends
this
to the
reminds
community.
me of is the way when kids come into the office, how they feel so free to talk to you and how they interact with you. You are not in some office where they can't get to you, but they walk in and they run at you. The times that you've been attacked at the knees by some of our children, or you see them at City Market and their face just lights up like fireworks, because you have valued them. And so wherever you run into them in life, they really, part of how they value their pastor is going to reflect on their opinion of God, because kids are so concrete. They need a way to be able to make sense of it all. And a lot of times, as scary as it is, they look at those teachers and those pastors in a way that helps them understand a little bit of who God is like. And so that's a scary thought, but it is a real thought. And if you've created that approachableness, that helps them understand that they can approach God.
And I think this is so important because it undoes what has been done so poorly in our society lately, and that is the abuse of children, disrespect for children, adult men and some of the issues. We don't need to go into those, but to show genuine love and care and concern for these kids
Right.
is something that we don't seem to have in our society. A lot of people have a bad experience with church and a bad experience with male leadership,
And
and it's just a chance to fix and repair that, build that up the right way.
it's not just the abuse issue too, it's the inaccessibility of so many people that are in leadership, and we can't make ourselves inaccessible. We're not in this for the paycheck or the I don't know. We're in it for the people. We're in it to change people's lives, and if we want to see kids transformed and families transformed, we have got to take the time to invest in them.
Yeah, and I think that really kind of summarized some of those things. This really, we're giving value not only to the children, but we're giving value to the teachers. We're letting them kind of have that relaxation break. They get to still be the teachers, kind of help at little, some of the smaller levels.
But it's not.
But it really,
Pull your hair out.
yeah, we're not.
Scary.
Yeah, it can be really quite a rough time of the year during the holiday season. And then probably the other thing too is just this idea of the male leadership. And we have at our church and many churches now so many single moms that they are just craving for men to be involved with their children and to say, hey, come up here or go here or do that. And it helps those parents so much to have a strong leader.
I've actually noticed that the moms of sons tend to flock into our churches needing us more than ever. It's not always moms of daughters, although daughters need it too. But moms of sons, and we have so many little boys in our groups that, boy, it's really good for those moms to have somebody else speaking into those kids' lives.
Yeah, good stuff. So anyway, that's some of the leadership aspect of this program, the Impromptu No Practice program. Again, a lot of planning for you to figure out how to do all those things. I want to encourage you to really think these things through, get the right people at the table, and really discuss these things. And go ahead.
And we're going to actually have another podcast or tape here that goes over some of the planning we've done. Now, yours will look different, probably, but it'll give you a chance to kind of see some of the intensive planning we've gone through to make that happen.
Join us again, and we'll be back. We'll be again, this next one we'll be talking about music and staffing and props and some of those things. So thank you so much. This is Mike Holmes with ReachKeep.com.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tanim here from ReachKeep.com. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about our Growing Your Church Through the Holiday Season package. It's going to be coming out. It's dedicated to helping you to grow your church through the holiday season, which we kind of look at pretty much from Thanksgiving to right about New Year's. Now, what this includes is our Impromptu No Practice Children's Christmas program, our core audio training program. This is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour to an hour and a half on really using the holiday season to grow your church. It's also going to include 3 detail audio sessions on this, and those will be one on Christmas Eve services, another on Christmas Sunday, and a third on January assimilation, or now that you've had them come for the first time, how do you get them to keep coming through the new year and beyond. Now, in addition to the audio, we'll also have some photos, some PDFs, and 3 of our best guest relations podcast episodes on getting and keeping guests and what's keeping your guests from coming to begin with. Now, all of this is going to be available in early November, and you can pick it all up for $19 as a digital download, or if you'd rather have physical CDs and things in your hands, it'll be $29 plus shipping for that. Like I said, those will be available early November from ReachKeep.com.